Welcome to Down the Sideline. We have a new addition to the crew, a guy who doesn't know how to shut his mouth whenever we're doing the intros, but it's all good. We're joined with Chef Opie and the newest man, Ski Rower Kevin. How's it going, everybody?
What's up?
It's going good. How are y'all doing today?
Doing all right. Ready to get this thing rolling.
Yeah, so September's been a hell of a month for football, I'd say so. All right, let's go on to last week's picks.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
All right, we had Mike, you were 0 for 4. I was 3 for 1. Opie was 2 for 2. It was TCU at Texas Tech. TCU won. UCLA at Arizona. UCLA won. Georgia Tech at Duke. Duke won. And Utah at Oregon. And Utah beat the crap out of Oregon.
So is Utah for real now?
I don't know. Utah's looking pretty good.
You know, they are looking pretty good. They are. I would put them with Northwestern, as I want to see a couple more games first. You know, both of them are one and the same, both doing good, both kind of being overlooked.
Well, there's a lot of teams like that, actually. Like, I was looking at the games for this weekend, games in general for the week. There are a lot of undefeated teams still left playing, and some of them aren't even ranked. It's like, wow. And they're in good conferences, too. I mean, they probably haven't played legit like people, though, but there's still a crap ton of undefeated teams left in the Power 5 conferences.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I don't think Indiana's going to hold out too much longer. They're starting to play all the big schools. So they're going to play, Ohio State this week, and then pretty soon after that, but they play Iowa. So they're going to be – I'm pretty sure they're going to get some defeats in.
Yeah, probably. Who else is undefeated? I know TCU is. I know Baylor is.
Temple's undefeated.
Temple. Oh, man. Totally underrated. Forgot about them. I wonder how come we haven't talked about them yet?
Clemson, Notre Dame, UCLA, Texas A&M, LSU, Florida, Ole Miss, Cal, Oklahoma State, K-State, Florida State, Georgia, Indiana, Ohio State, Baylor, Iowa, Northwestern, Michigan State, Oklahoma, West Virginia, TCU. That's just out of the top 25 games that are playing this week.
That's a hell of a rundown.
Yeah.
I would put A&M on the mix of all that. I kind of like A&M. They've been improving on defense. Their offense is pretty strong. I'd say they got a good chance of going on to the playoffs for sure.
So you think with Duke and Miami in the ACC, you think Miami's kind of got the inside track to get the coastal side of the conference?
I don't think Miami does, no.
I didn't think they did either at the beginning of the season, but other than their little meltdown against Nebraska, they've played pretty good football.
I think the ones to win when they get to more of their conference and the power of people in their conference, which just sounds weird, but like the Dukes, the Georgia Techs, the Clemsons, if they even play them, when they start getting to the meat, they're not gonna do so well. I mean, look at NC State; they've kind of snuck up on a 4-0. They're like I saw it online. They're like the team nobody's talking about that's undefeated. They've got the most points in their conference scored overall, like out of everybody. Like they're kind of like a quiet 4-0 team.
Who've they played, though?
I don't know. I hadn't looked. Well, you got to ask these kind of questions. From here on out, they got Louisville, Virginia Tech, Wake, Clemson, Boston College, Florida State, Syracuse, and North Carolina.
There's about 4 losses in that mix for them.
Yeah, I would have to agree on that.
Is Duke really going to be the team to knock Miami off this year?
During the Georgia Tech Duke game, they said whoever wins that game between Georgia Tech and Duke in the past couple of years has won the coastal side. And last year Georgia Tech won it, and they won their side, and this year Duke won it. So if you're looking at those random stats that Mike thoroughly enjoys, then Duke's got a good shot at making the conference championship.
But I think, are we taking Georgia Tech serious still?
I am, yeah. I still think they're going to win the ACC.
I take them more serious than I take Duke. But I think that's because when you say the words Duke, I think of shorts, tank tops, hardwoods, and rims, not grass and football. All right, can we move on to the ACC? It's boring over there.
Yeah, it's your show, man. You do what you want. We'll follow your lead.
No, I was just making a joke about the ACC. I joke around about the ACC all the time. I can't get into the ACC football, and I don't know why. Like, I watch the Big Ten, Pac-12, I watch the Big Ten, all that kind of stuff. The ACC is just like, eh.
Hey, y'all wanted to talk about games. We were talking about games. I'm using y'all liberally. If I could say that word, I would.
Wibberowee?
I've had too much to drink tonight. I'm sorry.
What are you drinking?
What you been drinking?
My root beer. All right, so you want to move on from ACC? What do you think about the Pac-12 games? UCLA at Arizona.
I don't know. I think Arizona let me down a little bit. I thought they were going to be a lot better than they were. Kind of like Tennessee. Tennessee's still a good team. I didn't think they'd be giving up big leads late in the game. That's twice now. And I was ranting and raving about them, early in the year. Kind of wrong about Tennessee a little bit. Maybe they still need another year or two for some of these guys that are, freshmen and stuff now to, jump up and be upperclassmen.
You hear other coaches, like especially like in basketball more than football, talk about that when you get to get experience isn't based on how many games you played. It's about getting to the fourth quarter and being able to hold a lead or to maintain a drive to put the game away. And it's just things that you have to learn, and until you've done it, you can't do it, and then it becomes a mental thing that it's like shooting free throws. If you know if you miss them all game, then whenever it counts the most in the fourth quarter, it's hard to make them too. So they just got to get over the letdowns and close one out, and I think they'll be fine.
But like I said, I think Arizona's let me down. Tennessee let me down a little bit. Arizona State let me down some.
Do you think that Oregon should have dropped out of the top 25 and Utah should be a top 10 team now?
I'm fine with them dropping out now because there's, like you just listed a while ago, Chef, there's how many teams are undefeated. So, if we're talking like week 10 and they got 2 losses, maybe so. But with how many teams that have no losses that are in power conferences, I think it's fine that they dropped out.
Are there any interesting games from last week that y'all want to talk about? Yeah, that Texas game, I watched a majority of that because I was at work working, quote unquote working. Until my boss got there, then I wasn't working. They should have won that game. They really should have. A couple of big penalties cost them a couple of touchdowns, but they shut down Oklahoma State's offense. Like high-powered, putting up 500 yards passing a game or something like that. They had some crazy stats. Yeah, over 300 yards passing per game, and Texas shut them down, picked off the ball like crazy. Rudolph got benched for a little bit. It was just a good game overall. Just came down to a punt, or it would have been overtime once again. The special teams need some work, especially the kickers. But you can't blame the kickers for that at the same time. Yeah, the extra point, whatever. I'll blame the kicker all day. But if your game's not close enough, then it doesn't really matter.
We were talking, I believe, like week 1, or not week 1, the first week we did this, we were talking, and we felt that the only teams that was going to be strong in the Big 12 was going to be Baylor and TCU. OU might slip in there. I'm not buying Oklahoma State. I don't think any of the better teams are going to beat. I think this was a close game for Texas, but in the big picture, I don't think this was Texas let this one slip away. I don't think Oklahoma State's a good team.
I don't think Oklahoma, they don't have a super strong schedule till towards the end. This week against Kansas will probably be a pretty good test of how good they are, and then the week after when they go against West Virginia, that's going to be their real test to see if they're as good as their 4-0 status says they are.
All right, first up, we got Notre Dame at Clemson. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first since I'm the newbie, I guess. I'm going to go with Notre Dame on this one. Actually, I like that freshman quarterback. What's his name? Kaiser? Is it Kaiser? He's looking really good. I really like him. That he may be young, but I think he's got what it takes. He's going to become a really good quarterback as the years goes on, I think. Their backup running back, that CJ kid, he's looking really good as well for being a backup. They are 2-5 on the road, which is kind of bad versus ranked teams. But all in all, I think Notre Dame's got what it takes to pull this one out for sure.
Kevin busting out some real life stats.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, dude. Somebody did some homework.
I did a little bit, just a little bit.
You know what? I'm going to second that. Death Valley's a hard place to play. I don't know. And I'm not a big Notre Dame fan, but I am going to pick him over Clemson this time around. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch, but I think Notre Dame's going to come out on top.
Well, Watson's is looking pretty good. I just don't think, Notre Dame all around, as an all-around unit, they're a very, very strong team. They're ranked number 6 for a reason. For a whole, as a team, I just think they're really, really good. Yeah, Clemson's D, awesome. I think they're ranked, I think number 1 on points allowed. I could be wrong on that. It's a very strong D. That's gonna be a tough game, very, very tough game. But like I said, I think Notre Dame ends up pulling that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Notre Dame also. They've had a couple of tests early, And even with the backup quarterback, sophomore quarterback, they've actually come out and got the win. And for some reason, UMass kept it close for most of that game, and then Notre Dame just was like, all right, we're going to put this kid to bed, essentially, and turn it on and put him to rest. Whereas Clemson, their toughest matchup has been Louisville. Like, literally, their toughest matchup has been Louisville, and they only won by 3. Yeah, I think Notre Dame's just going to come out strong and just dominate, and it's going to be a pretty impressive win, and Notre Dame's going to stay in the top. They're going to move up to the top 5, probably.
What you got, Opie? What you got, man?
I'm taking Clemson. For one thing, this is the first road start for Kaiser, and Death Valley is a tough place to play. And 2 is Notre Dame's most impressive win is against Georgia Tech, who lost to Duke last week. And, I mean, I think everybody knows that none of us are exactly picking Duke to win any big games this year. So I'm taking them. I'm taking Clemson because I just don't think that Notre Dame has the firepower. I think I saw here on ESPN it says that Notre Dame's teams they played are a combined 4-11 this year, and 2 of those wins is for Georgia Tech. So they haven't beat anyone either.
No, they haven't. It's gonna be a test for both of them. But I still think it's gonna be a pretty good game. All right, moving on to West Virginia at Oklahoma. What do you guys think about that one?
You know, if you remember last year, West Virginia started out. What did they start out? 5-0, and they beat Baylor at home, and then they just like completely fell off of the face of the earth. And I think that I don't think they're going to win this one either. I think that it looks like where are they playing? This one in?
They're playing in Oklahoma.
I'm going to take Oklahoma in this one.
I'm gonna take Oklahoma as well. I don't think West Virginia is kind of the same thing as Oklahoma State. They really haven't played anybody. They did put the boots to Maryland, but I mean it's Maryland, not so much going on there. But I think they haven't really had a challenge yet. Whereas Oklahoma, they shouldn't have had a challenge against Tennessee. They really haven't had a challenge either. You know what I mean? But Tennessee's a better team than their record shows, and I think it's going to show this week that Oklahoma's going to be a better team than West Virginia.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with both of you guys. I don't think West Virginia's gonna come out and do much to Oklahoma. I mean, they haven't faced hardly anybody. They haven't played. I mean, the teams that West Virginia's played, we see Georgia Southern, LIB, whatever that is, and Maryland. And yeah, they've won it all pretty handily, but big deal.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you guys, and I actually am going to go with West Virginia on this. I like the way Howard's been playing. He's a decent quarterback. I mean, he's got some good receiving units behind him. They've made some hellacious plays. Their D, West Virginia's D, is really, really good. I think they might hold out against Mayfield for this. The only problem I have with them being at Oklahoma is they've never lost against West Virginia since they've been in the district. That home field advantage is going to be tough to overcome. If it ends up being like a shootout and they just start scoring on each other, I think West Virginia is going to end up taking that ball game. So I'm going to go with West Virginia on this one.
Oh, Kevin, bucking the trend. All right, Chef, Texas TCU. This is all you.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I really am.
Lay it on thick, dog. Lay it on.
I think the way Texas has played the last 3 games, the Notre Dame game, like set the tone. The Rice game gave them the confidence. Is like, hey, we can beat a team, even if it is Rice. We can beat a team. But the last 2 games, they've been right there, and against a team that's essentially a TCU team at Oklahoma State, they just probably don't have the same playmakers. But against a team like TCU, if Texas plays like they did last week, Texas is going to get the upset. I'm taking Texas in the upset over TCU.
No way.
No. Listen, TCU doesn't have a defense, okay? I'm telling you. That defense is non-existent. The defense is what it is. They don't have a defense. I don't think there's any good defenses in all of the Big 12. But the only reason TCU keeps beating people is you can outscore them. Texas is not a high-powered offense, so Texas can score all they want. But are they really going to put up 40 points, 50 points, 60 points, whatever? I just because of that, I don't think Texas is going to win. I mean, I'm not going to be heartbroken if they do. But if I had to do a pick, I'm just going to say no. And that's the only reason I picked Texas Tech. If it was in Fort Worth last week, I wouldn't have picked Texas Tech. But at home, with guys suspended, which I think are still suspended, Texas didn't have enough firepower.
Yeah, if you look at the points scored, TCU scored 204. Texas has scored 116, and it's going to be more of the same. My question, though, is TCU going to score their most points in a game against them this week? They've scored 70 already this year. Will they score more than 70?
I don't think TCU is going to put up the most points they have on anybody this season. Not this week. You save that for Kansas, not Texas.
I think it's going to be in the 60s to in the teens.
Yeah, well, when you can't trust any points coming out of your kicker, I mean, that puts a damper on what you can do. Yeah, I don't see Texas outscoring TCU whatsoever. They can't pick a damn quarterback, so I mean, yeah, I don't see it.
Guess we'll see. I'll be watching it. I was like, not just because I'm a Texas fan. I think Texas is going to upset somebody, and I think it's going to be this week.
We're going to have to move on to Florida Ole Miss before Chef gets an aneurysm. Breathe, Chef. Take a deep breath. Don't hold your breath over there.
No, I'm good. That's what my underdog, man. These Texas and Tennessee are my underdog.
I think Ole Miss is going to beat Florida. I mean, they can keep, playing good and making good decisions. I mean, they're not a running powerhouse, and they really weren't last year. But they spread you out. They play really good defense. They keep games close. The special teams is good. They got really good big receivers. They've got the Kandichi brothers on defense.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you, Mike. I'm going to go with Ole Miss on this one as well. That up-tempo is just going to be kind of killer on that Florida defense. I mean, like I was saying earlier, some of those defensive players for Florida have gotten the flu. That might not come into play, but it could very well be. They're going to have to just play smart. I mean, they got that Greer kid for Florida. I mean, he's a newer quarterback. He kind of tends to run outside the pocket a lot and kind of makes rash decisions. If he doesn't play very smart this game, I mean, you could see that easily slipping away.
And Gators fans, I'm not picking against them right now. I want to pick them just for you, but I can't. I mean, if Ole Miss loses this game, then we have to really start questioning how good Ole Miss really was, because I just don't think that. I think Florida at the end of the season could end up with 6 losses, even though they've already got 4 wins.
Well, if they play this game next year, I would probably take Florida. This year, I'm taking Ole Miss. These teams are like a big brother, little brother. Florida is just right behind Ole Miss in like all the stat ratings, man. Like just right behind them. They've been playing decent. I mean, granted, same thing as everybody else. They haven't played crap for a team all season long, but it's the 5th game of the year. They're almost identical in a lot of ways, but I think Ole Miss just has more talent. So, Mike, what was the comment from the last video you want to talk about?
No, the comment from last week's video is by 413Click, and he says, "What's y'all's impressions of Northwestern so far?"
I do like Northwestern, man. That All-Line Dynasty, I know all those people playing. It's crazy. I'm impressed, but I'm not at the same time. I mean, they're nothing fancy. They're no TCU. They're no Baylor. They're no Ole Miss. They just go out and get the win. It doesn't matter who it is. They've only scored over 24 points once this season. I mean, really? But they've beat big-name schools. They beat Duke, who's currently beat the champion from last year in Georgia Tech. They beat Stanford, who wiped the floor with USC. Granted, they played Ball State and EIU, but they do what it takes to win. And I've been impressed with that, but they're not flashy. They're not something I want to watch, but they get the job done. Do I think they're going to stay undefeated and win the Big Ten this year? No. Do I think they're going to be like 3rd or 4th? Yes.
And that's pretty much the way I see it. I mean, we're going to see more when they play some top competition.
Are we not picking this Alabama-Georgia game?
It's not going to make it in the video, though.
Seriously? This is a good game. This may be the game of the week.
No, our game of the week is the Ole Miss-Florida game.
So you think Ole Miss-Florida is better than this game?
I'll agree with Opie on this one. I think this is going to be one of the better games to watch, honestly.
I'm taking Georgia in this one. Only because I like Georgia this year. I hope they win. I really would like to see them win the SEC. So this is a personal rooting for pick.
Well, I'm still up in the air. I'm on this game myself. I'm going to interrupt you, Mike, and get you back on track.
It's not going to help.
I can be swayed on this. I have a check mark next to both of these teams. I mean, if someone could make a strong argument against one versus the other, I'll I might go with that. But I honestly think it's just going to come down to the defense, personally. Georgia's defensive line isn't as big. Their front line against Alabama's front line, O-line. They're kind of outsized on that rank. I don't know. I have Alabama for this, honestly. I haven't heard a strong enough argument either way, so I think I'm going to pick Alabama myself.
It's a big coin flip game. I'll take Georgia just because it's in Athens.
I'm taking Alabama. I picked Alabama to win the SEC and make it to the playoff system thing. I think Georgia's going to put up a good fight. It's just not going to be enough. I think Alabama's going to pull out the win. I mean, it's going to be a good contest for both teams. It's going to see who's going to win and who can defend against what. Alabama didn't play good against Ole Miss.
Well, and this game decides who goes on and does what in their conferences. I mean, if Georgia wins, they're going to be considered the powerhouse. I'll guarantee that'll put them above Florida. That solidifies them in the East for sure. And then they'll probably end up playing Ole Miss if Georgia does pull this out. I mean, honestly, Georgia needs this win more to me. I think they need to win a little bit more than Alabama does.
I don't know that they need it more because can you imagine an Alabama team with 2 losses this early in the season? There was one more comment that I wanted to talk about. Brandon says, laugh out loud. Why is this game the game? Oh my gosh. He says, why is this game the game of the week? TCU is 6 times better than Texas Tech. Boykin is about to destroy the Red Raiders.
I mean, that's hands down. I mean, you can't argue with that, can you?
That's it. That's the whole discussion. I just wanted to say that. All right, well, that's going to do it for Down the Sideline. We forgot to talk about the poll. We're going to have the straw poll in for Ole Miss at Florida. Click on the link. Tell us who you think's going to win by picking your vote. I want to thank Kevin for joining us this week. We didn't scare him away. I think he'll be back to join us, and we'll have to come back next week and listen in to see if he's right or wrong. Because Kevin brought it today, man.
Yeah, I did a little bit of homework. I did actually watch some games. I've been away for a while. Work kind of got in the way of that, but now that it's not, I can actually start watching football again and enjoy it. So yeah, thanks for having me. Hope everyone enjoyed it.
You bet.
It was blast.
Yeah, we did. I like it. The video that you're watching now, this is for the YouTube video. This that you're watching now is a super condensed version. Like we're currently at an hour and 50 minutes, or almost 50 minutes of recording. If you want to see the full video, hear all the stuff we talked about that's not included in the video because we did a lot of talking, make sure you check the link in the description. The Italian's going to have a link to the full video uploaded to his channel, so make sure you go check that out. And let us know what you think. If you like it, we'll keep doing it. And it gives you kind of an insight on what we talk about, what we ramble on about while we do these things. Give you kind of a preview. So for next week, whenever we go live, you can come watch.
Yes, sir. And be sure to, I don't like self-promotion stuff, but with everybody's schedules kind of up in the air, you're just going to have to either subscribe to Chef or I on Twitter because we send out tweets to when the show's going to start. That's going to do it for Down the Sideline. We'll see you guys later.
Asta.
Later, guys.
Toodles.